So hello and welcome to another AwareNow Unplugged. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, in LA with the wonderful Elizabeth Blake Thomas, an English Rose in the States. And we have access all areas with the wonderful Elizabeth today. How are you doing, Elizabeth?
Well, it's quite funny you just asked me that question, because off camera we just discussed, do you want the real answer or do you want the pretend answer? The truth or not?
Well, you know, can we handle the truth? That's the big question.
You can't handle the truth.
Yes, because actually I am feeling very good. I'm feeling very blessed, very relieved, quite woken up from our conversation previous to this recording, and excited. So I think that's a few words.
I like all of those. There's no bad words in there. The truth was palatable to me and I think everyone else. So that's great. Let me just set the back scene for you. Elizabeth is a British award-winning storyteller and philanthropist based in LA, and an official ambassador of awareness ties for human trafficking awareness. And there is a film called Unseen. It is amazing. You must go and watch it. But get ready for some box of tissues. I got caught out. Also the founder and resident director of the Mother and Daughter Entertainment, whose motto is making content that matters. And I think that really comes through in what we're going to be discussing. Busy bee, got a couple of movies, which have been 2 feature films. Just Swipe, which is set to be released in 2021. Karalik, also that's involving the wonderful Isabella Blake Thomas. Keep it in the family. And also a regular on the panels at Sundance, Cannes and Toronto. Oh, missed a film, Evie Rose, which was premiered on the January 2021 on Amazon. So without further ado, let me hand back to the wonderful Elizabeth. Wow. I mean, wow. Tell us a bit more about you.
Well, it's funny when you hear somebody give your biography and talk about what you do, because I go to a place called Time, because time is a funny old thing. And I am often thinking, you know, what did I do last? When am I doing the next one? I'm constantly moving forward. I stay present when I'm there, but I'm ready for the next thing. And I have actually had to take the time to stop and say, wow, I've achieved an awful lot. Because I joke about my surname isn't Spielberg. You know, I didn't have anybody in the industry when I came here. I was just supporting my daughter. And I look back and there's I've directed 11 films, and that's in 5 years from knowing nothing and not, you know, just coming here with 6 suitcases. That was basically it. So when you hear about those films and you're talking to someone in your biography, we're so quick in our lives, majority of us, to look at other people and say, oh, but I would like that, or I want to be doing that. And you have to stop and go, oh my God, I've achieved a huge amount. I mean, I know friends that, as a Brit, you'll understand this, who've come over to America to try to even live here. That's hard. You know, I've got my visas and then I got my green card, and I've worked and worked and worked. And to suddenly sit there and go, wow, everything I've achieved is wonderful. I've done so well. Now, I may not be winning Academy Awards yet, but I've still done so much. So to sit there, I feel very honored when I hear my own biography and think, do you know what, Elizabeth? If I died today, I would be okay, because I wouldn't want to leave my baby.
Oh, but, there we are. There.
And my daughter, I better add her in there quickly. But I am doing and have achieved everything I've wanted to up until this point. And so thank you for that, because it's just a reminder constantly.
Well, you know, it's kind of digs into where you were this morning, where you say, well, how are you? And it's a constant theme. And yes, it's very easy to always be outward looking, but then when you actually take stock and, you know, coming at it and reading and seeing your work as a new pair of eyes, you know, I love it, and I'm really excited for what's coming as well. So Bravo, as we'd say in England. So there, there we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
So are you now ready to go into the unplugged part of the show, where we take you deliberately into your comfort zone? This is going to be hey, no expense spared here. We're going to pull out some random numbers. I'm going to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
I have been asked before.
No, I have to say, I really don't know what they are, actually.
You'll see from the reaction, ladies and gentlemen, don't you worry. Here we go. So number one, what's this? Number 25. That's our age once. So here we go. Number 25. Here we go. Where do you stand on the pineapple as a topping on pizzas debate?
I really like it.
It's okay. Hawaiian.
It was the one I would always go to as a child, but I'm a vegetarian and I'm a vegan all the time when I can be, vegetarian when I can't be. So I would have to just have pineapple now.
There we are. Not only are we gone with we're taking the Hawaii out of the Hawaiian. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Well, you can see controversial right from the start. I like that.
I've lost some followers already.
Ratings are dropping. A little clapper meter for this. But number 17. What is the best prank you've ever pulled on someone or had pulled on you?
Oh my goodness me. A prank. Well, do you know, I'm going to give one of the pranks to my mother because, and this wasn't me, but she told me this story about when she was little and I just love it. She was a bit cruel to her younger sisters. And one day she went into the kitchen and covered herself with tomato ketchup and got a knife and ran at them and said she'd stabbed herself and she was dying. I mean, it's not a nice prank, but you know, and she said her sisters were screaming, running around the house. I mean, that's awful. My mum's a really nice person, but I remember her telling me that, going, Mummy, that's so horrible to do to your siblings. So that's her prank. Don't try that at home, people. Don't try that at home. A prank that I've done, or I don't know what. I'm sure I've done lots because I remember, you know, I do wind my daughter up in a funny way. I'll do things to her and I'll say things, but an actual prank, gosh, I don't know.
Well, let that one little settle on the wall. Love the one about the mum, your mum. That's top drawer comedy.
Well, and also my mum used to go around when I was little and pretend to be a Dalek and chase me around the house, and I. Scared. I mean, she's really not very nice. She'd go, "We will exterminate," and I'd be hiding in the shower, right? Hide under the bed. Yeah, I know. My mother. She's emotionally ruined me, I think.
Well, what can I say? It's up to you now. Whether you want to break the cycle, or you continue it. It's your
Exactly.
I love it. Doctor Who, the Daleks used to scare the jeebus out of me for many a year.
I know.
Thank you, BBC. So, number 22, we're keeping it in the 20s. There's obviously something going on with that. Number 22. What is one fact about you that most people would never guess?
Oh, okay. There are two. There'd be the emotional one, or there could be something a little bit more lighthearted. Which way shall I go? I think I'm going to go with a light-hearted one. Now, most people know, you know, I live on a boat. Most people know that I have this kind of frugal lifestyle, but I don't think people know how hard it was to get to that place. And this is my less hard one I'm telling you about. The other one is very serious. But when you make that decision to try something new, I packed up 3 suitcases for me, 3 suitcases for Isabella, and left the UK to come over. it was actually we were already having marital problems, but it was definitely probably one of the main reasons why my husband then went and found somebody else and left me. But we were having problems. It wasn't like it was a perfect situation. But to then stick with that and stick with it, I think people don't know how hard that was. And they kind of think it was, well, she wanted to go and do that, and that was the life she's going to have. I had to make a major life decision of, do I stay and try and make it work, or do I go back to the UK? And I never even said goodbye to people, actually, because I don't do goodbyes, which is another interesting fact about me. But I knew I wanted to make it work, so I kept going. And even now I go, people probably still think I'm just here for a holiday. You know, I only left 6 suitcases. I've been in 10 years. But I think just how hard it was to make that decision to actually stay. When my ex, who wasn't my ex at the time, but, you know, has told me he wasn't going to stay with me, said, you need to come back to the UK or that's it. That was a big thing. Yeah, I've met someone, this is what I'm doing. That's a hard choice to make.
Oh yeah.
And I have no regrets. So let's just put that out there.
That's amazing. And you're right. People are so quick to see what you've got now and then not look at all the steps that came up to that point. And, and
every day I'll say battle loosely, because having heard other people's battles in life, not, but you know, every day it is something I have to go through and think about.
Yeah, no, I love it. Love it. What a great answer. Mike, I think you're going to get the special on that one. That was awesome.
Thank you.
It's like Carry On. This is.
I love it. I love those movies. Oh, do you know what? I might try and find one. I love them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your job for today. Carry on. Right, number 34. Do you have any phobias?
Ooh. Do I? Yes, you know what? Again, the word phobia is, I don't know if this is not fair to say this is a phobia, but I think it is a phobia. I hate flying. I really to the point of I'm driving to New York so that I can make my flight back to London less. So I think that's a bit of a phobia.
I think that qualifies.
I bless the plane when I go on it. I count how many seats at front, how many seats at back, where are the exits, which way your seatbelt goes on. Is it on my left hand or my right hand? Because when you're in a panic situation, that's what you don't remember.
You don't sit there with your life jacket on ready.
I would if I could. Listen, if I could take on one of those, you know, things that parachute, I would so wear that parachute. Maybe my little mask is going to be
your mask. We're not even flying over water, madam. That doesn't matter, just in case.
But it's funny you say that. It's flying over the water that's the worst. I have a real problem with it. And if I can drive instead, doesn't matter how many hours it takes, I'll drive.
I think that solidly qualifies as a phobia.
All right.
I'm not saying you need counselling. No, bravo. I think you met that one very well. Right, number 6. Let's see what number 6 says. Oh, if your life was a movie, what would it be called?
I've come up with a few titles, actually, because obviously being in the movies, you do. And actually, my mother always said, you should have a camera crew following you around because your life is insane. And I did think it at one stage. So I would have, one of them would be called The Men in My Life, because I've had such interesting male influential figures, not in always a positive way, that I was thinking about it the other day, going, you know, I had a biological father, a adopted father, a stepfather. Then I've had my ex-husband, certain mentors. There are these men have taken huge roles in my life. So that would be one title, The Men in My Life. Another one, well, I did have a book that I wrote after my divorce called Arabella, because I wrote this fictional character that is not fictional at all, that is called Arabella. And it's about what she went through when her ex-husband told her that he wanted a divorce, and it's 2 weeks of hell over Christmas, but it's a comedy because we go to comedy, as we said, if we feel in a bad place. So they would be the two. Would I have another one? Yeah, do you know what? I'm writing several books kind of along that premise. One would be called Fuck It, because it's like, you know, I can't remember what life is. And then maybe another one, which I just wrote actually, a life isn't all it's cracked up to be. So you see where my head's at the moment. Yeah, so I've got quite a few titles. That's easy.
Oh no, yeah, overly qualified for that question. Overly qualified. This is unfortunately it's the last of the balls, and we go up to 67. Let's see what's at 67.
Okay.
Oh, at what store? Now I know you're very frugal, so this is going to be like, you know, at what store would you love to max out your credit card?
Travel agent.
There you go.
Yeah, because I really don't. Someone sent me a message on Facebook saying, it's time for Christmas and I'm selling all these books and blah, blah, blah. Maybe these would be lovely presents for your family. And I had to write to her and say, I'm really sorry, but I don't buy things. I literally don't buy things. I have 2 stores in Hermosa where I live, because I shop local, that I buy whatever it is I need and I'll replace. And obviously living on a boat, you can't have much anyway. And that's just my clothes and my shoes. And I try and I just reuse until I need something new for an event or whatever. And even then I might go to a vintage store, but I just don't. I remember my cameraman saying to me, we were about to film, and he said, I've got some deliveries coming. When do your packages arrive? And I went, I'm sorry, what? He said, well, you know, when do your deliveries arrive? When does UPS deliver? When does Amazon? I said, I'm sorry, I still don't understand what you're talking about. He said, well, these people come at certain times of the day. I said, I literally have no idea what answer you want from me. I don't know. I don't have deliveries.
You'd either thought, no, she's either being really difficult or she just has no idea.
No idea. I didn't know you had that. I didn't. And people, it's so funny because I still am someone that would go to a shop if I need something. I do not go on Amazon. My book is available on Amazon. My book is available, but I did have to order that via there. But I don't know. I just don't. I was like, I need a new tin opener. I'll go and get a tin opener. That's it.
Well, you know, you should watch The Good Life after this.
Yeah.
So that is an awesome. Unfortunately, now it's going to mysteriously go away. There we go. Now we're going to carry on. Now we're going to carry on with awareness ties. Now I love this question. How did you find awareness ties? What brought you to the awareness ties family?
Holy moly. I am really now trying to think. Oh, I do know. Phew, I couldn't remember for a minute. I was at a film festival and Unseen was screening. It was in Hollywood and Jack and Ali were there. And they came over to me and started talking. And obviously you can't, you know, not talk to them and their passion. And they got me involved immediately. And I said, whatever I can do. Quite a while ago now. I say quite a while ago. Time is irrelevant to me. It could be 20 years ago. It's actually probably only 3 or 2. I don't know. COVID, I don't know when this happened. Yeah. But then that's when I met them.
That's awesome. I always love how, what I love is the chance introductions, which were never really chance anyway. And I love seeing how that weaves together in a sort of big tapestry.
Yeah.
So what does the word awareness mean to you? When somebody says the word awareness, what does that mean for you?
It's a good question too. Awareness. I think it has to start with my self-awareness. Which is actually incredibly hard to always be aware of, ironically, aware of your self-awareness, because we get taken up into day-to-day crap all the time. And, you know, this morning, what am I working on? Where am I going? What am I doing? What I've got to get in the car. But actually to stop and be self-aware, just say, do you know what? I got up this morning. Look at me. I'm still here. I'm alive. From that moment to, oh, I need to go and get some breakfast. oh my gosh, look at my fridge. I have some food in it.
Mm.
Every choice, everything we do, being self-aware of that. And so therefore, almost just not taking anything for granted. I'm about to get in the car. So I first of all, I go, I have a car that I can put gas into. And I've just paid for a bill for it to be fixed. Oh my gosh. And to see my daughter. I have a daughter who's happy and healthy and alive. I mean, it's one of my favorite episodes on Friends, actually, is this guy that goes out with Phoebe, and he's so excited by life. I think Alec Baldwin plays it. And he like goes on a date, and there's a plate popper thing that holds plates. He goes, look at this plate machine. And it's having that excitement, that gratitude, that self-awareness all the time, because then that allows you to be aware of other people and what's going on in their lives, and for you to just go, and my day is okay, they're having a day, look, how can I be aware for them? But it has to start from self.
I think you totally hit the nail on the head, that you can't be self-aware if you don't have awareness, because the aware is in the title. So it's and I think, yeah, we're always in such a rush, but it's only when you are, some people are forced to focus on it, but if you're able to do that naturally and just actually realize the space you're in and things like that. And it's like when we went through your bio this morning, that was a moment where, you know, you were able to stop and take it in, and those moments, they're the important moments. The rest of it is the filler. So
it's just stuff.
Yeah, it's stuff and fluff.
Like I said, life's not all it's cracked up to be, so you might as well enjoy it.
I love that title. You've got to nail that title. I love it.
It's my next blog, actually.
There we go. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So we're going to take you to a point now where you may have had one of your aha moments. So we're going to call it one of your unplugged moments, which now, looking back, or even now, it's one of those moments which you feel really changed the way you look at things. Is there one of those moments? There's more than one, but if you can pick.
Yeah. My situation, and I don't know if this is a positive skill or a negative skill, is that I remember things. There's a lot of my life that is blocked out. There's a lot of it that's blocked out. And I have huge chunks that I go, I have no recollection of that, and don't remember that, and don't know how I was feeling at that moment. But I also have other moments that are beyond clear. And so those moments can be something as silly as I can tell you with all the senses of being at school, and the bell would ring, and going into the hallway to go in and take your break. You would get your biscuits. And I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember those moments, and there are these very, like, they're not emotional moments. They're not things that have happened to me that I go, I remember that day I took that chocolate biscuit and it changed my life. But those moments that are there, that sit with me, I often look back and go, I wonder why they're there.
Yes.
And so I look at this as a whole, and know that there are certain things that did affect me. And I look back and go, why did I make that choice? Why did I do that? I mean, I remember even the way I used to eat the penguin biscuit. You know, things like that. And I know penguin biscuits are like obviously a British thing.
Pick up a penguin.
Penguin. So this kind of isn't answering your question, but it's an interesting one to reflect on. I have huge moments that I remember. I remember things that I did that I wish I hadn't done as a little girl. And I look back at those and think, why do I still feel bad about that? Why do I remember those? What did I do? I was 8, you know, and I'm sure the person that affected doesn't remember this.
No.
But the whole package of who I am, that's why it's impossible to answer that question. Every single moment has led me to where I am. I can remember things that were said to me. I can remember things I said. I can remember One of them was I was standing on the bottom step at school, about to go and get my drama prize. And there was a girl called Melissa who stood above me. And she turned to me and she said, "That's where you belong, beneath me."
Oh.
But let me also say, maybe that didn't happen. Now, I am 100% sure it did. But the trouble is our brains and our memories mess around with us so much that I look at that and go, have I created something? Was it something different that she said? Is that what I want to remember? And that applies to so many things.
Oh yeah.
And that then leads me also to that also then leads me to your truth. Because even with my divorce, even with everything that's gone on, if you were to ask my ex-husband what happened, and then you were to ask me, we're both going to have very different stories, but they are both our truth. And so, sorry to say such a long-winded answer, but I can't answer your question because that has such an impact on me with so many things.
I think it's actually a great answer, because actually life is just a series of moments put together.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you were saying before. Some of the times you were hyper aware, and other times it didn't. There's some sort of filter going on, which some stuff got through and other stuff didn't. And that's kind of like the fascinating thing. I think being aware, going back to that, I think even aware that exists is actually a big thing. So I think it's a great, this the best non-answer I've had.
I'm good at those. I'm good at delegating and non-answering.
Yeah, you're a fantastic guest. What can I say? So I'm going to ask you an easy one. What is one of your favorite quotes or mantras?
I do have a couple of those. My daughter would be the expert at those because I always say them to her. One of the first ones is, if you don't say it, you can't be quoted.
Okay.
I sometimes I fail, but I live by it as much as I can. And I tell my daughter that you just sometimes need to just shut up. That's it. And then another one would be this kind of concept of, living without fear. I want to slide into my grave going, oh God, I'm exhausted, but I had an awesome time. I did everything that I wanted. So that's kind of a philosophy. That's the bit of the mantra. That's how I try to live each day. I never get to the end of my day with any regret. And I make a conscious decision, a very conscious decision each day of, is this a day that I'm going to metaphorically lie in bed and cuddle Chai, my dog? If that's the decision I make, I'm all good with that. I'm going to go for a chai tea latte. I'm going to sunbathe. I'm going to sit on my boat. All good. Or is this a day that I've got this going and this and this? That's fine. Doesn't matter. But my philosophy on life is that every day I go, if it ended tonight, I would be okay. Yeah.
A great, refreshing way to live, because actually you have to be present to do that. You cannot be anything other than.
No. And you have to work at that. And I look at it and go, I only have 100 of. That's one of the things that's in my next book. Because if you actually realized, okay, with my daughter, and you could even do it less, because really when they hit 19, 20, they're off, they're doing their own things. You've only got 20 summers with your children. You're not going to waste that. I've only got 20 Christmases with my child, because if they go off and meet someone and get married, you split it. They might not be with you all the time. And you suddenly put a finite number on these things. You go, oh my gosh, that's not very many.
It's true. I mean, it's my son's birthday today, and he's 6. And I'm thinking that this may be the very last Christmas where he actually 100% believes in Santa Claus.
No. Oh, he's probably at school. Isabella believed till she was 14.
Oh, I'm like, what am I worrying about? I've got plenty of time.
No.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
it was only because the tooth fairy messed up that she started to realise that Santa wasn't real. Yeah, Tooth Fairy forgot her name. So the letter she wrote.
It's the Tooth Fairy's fault that Santa's not real.
It was, and the writing. Mummy, this looks like your writing, and that's not my Tooth Fairy's name. I was like,
see,
oh.
This is a premise for another film. You realise that, don't you? Where the Tooth Fairy screwed up. Okay, right. We heard it here first. Let's get to the final.
Very.
Yeah, there we go. Look, down that tooth. Mine hasn't actually started losing it yet, but he's very excited for when it does.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm getting $1. I'm like, what are you gonna do with it? Anyway, so what is one of your favorite songs and why?
Oh, I do know this. I love it when I actually do know something.
It's like fingers on buzzers.
It is, because it's so exciting for me. Well, right now it's Christmas, so I'm playing just non-stop Christmas tunes, 103.5, and I'm blaring them out. So any Christmas music, love it. But the song that is the one is the Avicii, and it's called, I'm not going to sing it to you, but I don't actually know what it's called. So let me find it. But I love Avicii, and I just, it's such a sad story with Avicii. But let me tell you the song.
Even filling
Wake
in
me
stuff.
up. Wake me up.
There we go.
Oh, it's just that if I play that, and that will often come on at moments when I'm in a place or doing something or needing it. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked a little bit off camera about things just happening when they happen, and that's another evidence.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're going to finish up, but tell us, what are you doing now?
Well, what am I? Oh, actually, I've got. Okay. Again, you probably just short answer. I'm sorry, I'm like the worst person on the podcast ever. Well, if you actually want the real answer or the fake answer. Okay, so the real answer, which is a tiny bit longer, but I'll keep it short. I am currently co-producing a movie for Sony. I'm first ADing 2 projects, and I'm directing a horror, but it's a horror with a meaning, because I wrote it called Calm as a Bitch. But that's all great and dandy, okay? Very privileged, very lucky, working hard, doing that. But that's not my soul. Mm-hmm. My soul is working on projects that really just, it's not because I want to win an Oscar, but you call them Academy-winning projects because everybody understands what that means.
Yeah, yeah.
And the one that I'm working on at the moment, I'm meeting with the girl actually after you, is a true story. And I don't want to say too much about it, but it's very similar, but totally different to yours, but very similar in that it is just inspiring by somebody who was going to die age 3, and she didn't, and she overcame everything and grew up to be this Amazonian princess, and she's deaf, but she's too deaf for the deaf community. She's too hearing for the deaf community. She's too deaf for the hearing community. She has a crooked smile. There's a lot to it. That is the project that I am working on, and talking to her today. She's a very good friend of mine, and taking that to a space that is so inspiring. That is what floats my boat, and that's what I would say I'm working on.
I can see you are come alive just talking about that. The passion and the energy are just, it's very easy to see where actually, I'm not going to say your heart lies because it's something deeper than that, but that's beautiful. I'm very pleased because that's your gift, as we started at the beginning. That's your gift of being able to take those type of projects and see something which other people can see. So I love it. Brilliant. Where can people get hold of you, apart from if you want to come and knock on your boat? Where, if you're on social media, now is your chance to show us where you are.
Okay, I always forget them. So Mother and Daughter Entertainment. So that's got a website. So that's Mother and Daughter Ent. Elizabeth_B_T. My Medicine with Words, which is my storytelling healing. So that's the medicinewithwords.com or @medicinewithwords. Facebook's the kind of same stuff. But if you type my name in, it's there. So you'll be always my numbers everywhere, my emails everywhere. I'm not one of those people. Everyone knows where I live. It's a bit of a disaster, really.
Yeah, very LA, and what I'd kindly expect.
yeah, I'm available on all platforms. That's what I say.
Fantastic. Well, look, Elizabeth, it's been so much fun chatting with you. It's kind of mostly a slightly different podcast than what you're used to, but hey, I don't care. And thank you for being such a honest and passionate guest. I really have appreciated the time, and I I also, if you haven't seen the film Unseen, which goes with the human trafficking, please watch it. It's very, very hard hitting, and it just shows some of the brilliance which Elizabeth is able to give us all. So thank you once again, and keep up the great work.
Thanks.
See you later, guys, and we'll catch you for the next one. Thank you again.